Civilization or Barbarism, an Authentic Anthropology by Dr. Cheikh Anta Diop. Chapter 7, Race and Social Classes. The Laws of Ethnic Relations in History. The Law of Percentage. 1. An Eskimo in Copenhagen or a few blacks in Paris trigger an amused curiosity and the outpouring of very sincere sympathy on the part of the population of either of these cities. But just inject immigrant workers up to the fateful threshold of 4 to 8%, and you will have a racial situation comparable to that of New York City. The nature of social relationships changes, engendering ethnic tensions, global reflexes painful to describe. The more the percentage increases, the more the class struggle transforms itself into racial confrontation. In the 19th century in Denmark, the gypsies were hunted down like foxes. Today, with the economic crisis, racial discrimination vis-a-vis immigrant workers appears of all places in Sweden. We now see that Sweden, the champion of anti-racism, was ignoring the true nature of the racial problem and its implications in everyday life. The appearance of a small percentage of foreign workers disclosed this, for it was sufficient to make racial discrimination appear spontaneously in this people who previously believed itself wholesome and devoid of any racist sentiment. Sweden first could be heard in a line of passengers waiting for the bus from the Swedish correspondent for the French newspaper Le Monde. 2. The law of assimilability. If the majority and the minority belong to the same large ethnic group and thus share the same culture, assimilation occurs progressively. The Spanish and Portuguese workers despised today in France will integrate themselves into the population within the space of one generation, as did the descendants of the Corsicans and the Poles in the Neapolitan era. The same would be true for the Bambara minority from Mali, living in Senegal after one generation. In cases where the ethnic and cultural gap is too great, tensions are exacerbated with time. Africans, blacks, and Arabs find themselves in this situation in Europe. Coexistence then becomes possible only in a truly socialist state, or a state that has adopted a high moral philosophy. 3. The law of distance. Two ethnic groups that are not fighting over the same living space or the same market, and that instead of cohabiting in the same territory, occupy different territories separated by space, can enter into normal relations. Thus, the alliance might be explained during World War II between Hitler's Germany and Japan, between pure Aryans and Yellows. Today, Pretoria is counting on this factor to try to fool the black states, with which it is trying to establish normal diplomatic relations, forgetting that the whole African continent is our native land. Pretoria's relations with Israel fall into this same category. And we'll stop right there and continue back off with chapter 7 of Civilization or Barbarism. I'm Uriel. Hi, it's Harlow.